Hola, bon dia.
We've been renovating our ruin for 2 years and we're finally finished. Today we're going to show you how we built a kitchen for about 850 euros. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video for a cost breakdown.
A cost breakdown? That sounds good. We are showing highlights of the build, taking it from this dark, dingy disaster to a bright, beautiful kitchen. This was our initial walkthrough of the house as new owners.
I had actually forgotten how bad the original back door was. As you can see, I couldn't even get it open. So Grant had to lock and unlock the door until we got a new one. You enter from a small patio at the back of the house into an addition. The addition is not finished. It's just clay tijolos, so it's looking very rough, dark, and dingy. And this is the original back wall of the house and the original entrance.
The addition needs a lot of work, but there's plenty of space for a kitchen here. So we just picked up this monstrosity piece of furniture about 40 minutes away. And now let's see where the hell we're going to put it.
We've had a few temporary kitchens over the last couple of years, and for the first year and a half, this was my sink. So it was kind of like camping in a construction zone.
Now it's a foot bath. Fortunately, we had our appliances delivered in the first week, so we were able to set up a temporary kitchen.
Mostly functional.
Well, unorganized and a little bit functional.
Yes, and Grant makes delicious pizza, so I was very thankful that we were able to have a functional oven pretty much from day one.
So now that we've looked back at what we started with, let's get into the renovations.
There was a lot of work to do before we could get to building a kitchen. So this is the addition that will eventually be our kitchen. Before we start taking the roof off, we decided to level this floor because the whole floor slopes from where I'm standing down to the other end. And it's also sloping down towards this wall here. So we need to level that out. So on this end, it is, 3 centimeters?
We raised it up to 3 centimeters.
So it's 3 centimeters higher than the original floor. And then as we go across down to this end, you can see the huge difference. And once we get to this end, it is 19 centimeters. So we're going to do a little bit of backfilling on this end of the room. We're going to wet everything down so that the cement sticks better. And then we're going to pour cement, my favorite thing. Okay, so the cement is poured. It's all level. We're using one of the things from the scaffolding so that we can walk across to get inside. And we're gonna hang some plastic in front of the doorway. Hola, bon dia. We're joining you today from our future kitchen, so little sneak preview. So this is the frame that we finished yesterday, or the form. So we roughly framed in the window and the doorway. And then we created the form for the lintel, and we decided to just go with one continuous lintel across because there really isn't that big of a space in between the window and the door. So we decided to just go with one solid one. Hi, Mitzi. Don't you walk in the new cement, you little punk.
Exactly what she's gonna do.
Here she comes. Don't do it. No. Hey. No. No. Mitzi.
Hey.
Hey. Hey. Oh, you dumbass.
Thanks a lot, bud.
We started putting the new roofing framework up, so at this point we had a purlin and some rafters. All right, so that's what our roof looks like so far. And we got this idea from Destino, Portugal. So their purlins, they tilted on an angle so that they didn't have to notch any of the trusses. And that seemed like it would be easier. So we copied them. Well, we put in another full day of work. And it's looking pretty good. Our temporary kitchen was set up in the guest room. And our actual kitchen still looked like this. Our new back door and our new kitchen window. So eventually this will be a kitchen. Right now we're using it more as a mudroom. So there you go. The white truck with the green on it is our delivery with the materials for our kitchen. There is the patio pavers for the kitchen floor. Oh. Very nice. Just the flooring would have taken about 5 trips because it's too much weight for the Kangoo to do in one. So in Canada, this is called drywall. In the UK, it's called plasterboard. And in Portugal, it's called placa de gesso. We're at the end of the spray foam adhesive. So one can did almost the entire room. Grant is busy putting the second coat of drywall mud on all of the seams. He used the orbital sander hooked up to the vacuum cleaner, the shop vac, to sand the first coat, and it worked really well. So you can see why it took so long before we got to the actual kitchen build, because first we had to install a roof, new windows and doors. We also had to pour cement subfloors and add insulated drywall to the exterior walls.
Now that we have the basics finished, we can start building a kitchen.
Okay, wasn't quite supposed to work like that, but 2 down, 4 more to go. Got it. Last one. As you saw in the video, instead of doing separate legs like the original, I decided to do them the whole width of the cabinet. So the side pieces and the support where the structure is are made from this, which is cedar that we found on the beach last year. So I used free wood. I did buy a little bit of hardware, but we have the toe kick finished. So we're just checking out the layout. We're doing a dry fit with the tiles before we start mixing up the cemento cola and before we start installing them. So the plan is to start from this corner here, which is where I have created my square line in a completely not square or even room. So this is our setup. I squared it to the door that you enter rather than the rest of the room because that just kind of made sense to me, but we'll see.
Is this your first grout?
Yes,
Thin set? For your first tile?
it is.
You nervous?
Yep. But you know what? This whole room ain't square, so I guess it doesn't really matter, does it?
You're a square.
I am not.
We happy with that? Looks
Think
good.
so.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, looks perfect. I don't know how much of this I need. I'll find out when I start spreading it. How's that? Are we ready to lay the first tile?
If you like. Like that.
Yeah, like that. And then when we slide it, we'll slide it like towards.
I think it should slide a little easier now, no?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I have the screed bar lined up on my original placement line so that I know that this side is square to where I want it. So much easier to mop a real floor.
Yes.
Oh, except I need a new mop head. This
Uh-oh.
one's falling apart.
Lost his tail. Ooh, look how shiny.
So this is what our floor looks like. We have mopped a few times and we've scrubbed any of the tiles that still had a bit of grout on them. There's a few spots that have a slight haziness to it, but I think that will come off over time as I'm mopping the floor.
So after 20 months of renovations, we finally have a fully functioning kitchen.
Yay! Woo! So we just turned the water back on and tested to make sure nothing was leaking.
We had a leak. So
And yeah, but the only part that was leaking was the end cap on the hose that will eventually go to the dishwasher. So I'm just tightening it up. And then we'll turn the water back on and just double check that everything is good. see how it goes. So you can see the setup here, and nothing is leaking on this end. And it looks like this one has stopped leaking as well. I mean, it's wet, but that was from before, so here. So there you go. That is the temporary end cap for the supply to the dishwasher. Before we can finish doing the plumbing tying into the septic system, I need to figure out the exact placement of the cabinet. So the upper cabinets obviously can only go as far over as the hot water heater. And then the lower cabinet is 10 centimeters wider than the upper cabinet. So I want to try and center it as good as I can. So I have my line for the upper cabinet placement, and then the lower cabinet will be overhanging by 5 centimeters on each side. So now we can move the cabinet back into place and make sure that we have the correct placement for the plumbing so we can get the right measurements where we need to cut it. The next job is to attach the countertop to the cabinet and add the tap. So I'm making the pilot holes through the framework for the original top and into the new cabinet. Just like that. All right, so check this out. We finally have a proper sink with running water, and I don't have to empty buckets outside when I do the dishes. Woo! So now that we have that sorted and we have the plumbing in place to connect the dishwasher, we need to finish tiling the floor. So we decided to add a longer drainage hose so that we can connect the drainage for the dishwasher more into the corner, closer to where the hoses come out of the machine. And we're just about to secure the hose to the wall, and then we can connect the water supply. So we have the drain pipe attached to the wall and the hose attached to the wall, and we're ready to move the machine into place.
So, you know, this one has a gasket in it too.
Okay.
So it should tighten. Oh no.
Is it not the right size?
Oh no, there it is. I just thought it was a wrong thread.
Oh. Slight moment of panic.
A little bit. Okay. Moment of truth.
So when your water connection is up the hill, this is how you test your water connections without flooding the place.
ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Maybe. Now it's on.
Looks good. Here, let me, yeah, I don't see any water.
No leaks?
No leaks.
Okay, good. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye! Okay, this is the first time we're running the dishwasher without the garden hose. Is it gonna go? Yep. So there you go. We did our first load of dishes properly without the garden hose, and we don't have any water leaking. It just has 4 minutes left, and then it's done. So it survived its maiden voyage hooked up properly. So this little monkey ran through the grout while I was trying to sponge it and made more work for me. So now we're using the screen from the window as a makeshift baby gate to keep the riffraff out. Right, Mavis? Are you the riffraff? She's all mad now because I won't let her through. That's it. Whew. Floor's finished.
The entire kitchen floor is finished?
Yeah. There's a few hazy spots, but yeah, we'll clean those up.
Yeah, just gotta scrub them.
Yeah. I built and installed a wine rack. I also finished off the framework for the shelving and countertop for a coffee bar. So the lower cabinets are now finished, primed, and painted. I've started to cut the center part of the cabinet because this is the portion that's going to be centered over the sink as my upper cabinets. In order to get a straight line where I've started, I just lined up a piece of wood along this edge of the cabinet and used that as a guide to start cutting. So we're almost through the harder part, which is the trim and also like the main support for this bottom section. Perfect. Awesome.
There you go. Here's your
So there are my French cleats. I just have to sand them because you don't want to leave the sharp edge because it'll break. But they should just sit together like that. So the 4x4 was attached to the top of the cabinet and screwed into the framework of the cabinet just to create extra support for the French cleats, because I wanted a little bit more space to screw into. And we only had a 2 centimeter section where there was framework inside the cabinet to screw into through the French cleats. So both the 4x4s attached to the top and the French cleats are glued and screwed into place. Across the top of the 4x4, I screwed down into the framework of the cabinet at roughly 20 centimeter intervals. And yeah, I probably went a little overboard with the screws attaching my French cleats to the cabinet. But I want to make sure that it's nice and secure and that it's going to be strong enough to hold the weight of the cabinet with some dishes and stuff in it. All right, so we have all of the primer on the upper cabinets. So on the carved detail, I did 2 coats with the brush, and then on the flat portions, I did 1 coat with the roller. So it's now ready for green paint starting tomorrow. We're finally ready to get started with the actual paint color, so here we go. Our kitchen cabinets are finally finished. And friends of ours came last week to help us mount the upper cabinets on the wall. It actually went smoother and easier than expected, so the French cleat system is highly recommended. You'll notice the upper cabinets have a slightly different style of hardware than the lower cabinets, and the reason for that is when we purchased the cabinet, it was missing one handle. So we decided it made sense to replace the handles on the upper cabinets and leave all of the lower cabinets the original hardware. And if you look inside the cabinet, you'll see all of the shelves are covered in a vinyl wallpaper, which makes it easier to clean and brightens it up. And we also have magnetic closures. So our cabinet is now cat proof because Drac likes to sit inside this cabinet. I turned the shelves in the center into spice racks. So I cut the depth roughly in half so that they're not in the way when you're standing by the sink. The original plan was to add slides to the drawers so that they are smoother and easier to open and close, but there is not enough space to accommodate that. So I did it old school and waxed the bottom of the drawer as well as the runners on the inside of the cabinet with candle wax. Added features like the wine rack and the trim underneath the countertop, as well as the trim that we added to the toe kick, have really helped to finish off the piece and tie everything together so that it gives it a nice seamless appearance. So we're using a regular piece of drywall or plasterboard as the base for our backsplash. So Grant is just cutting it down to size. So you saw me cutting some portion off. So we do have a little bit of waste when you're matching the pattern. That is what we're doing now. So you'll see I have folded over roughly 1 square worth of the backing, and we're lining up our pattern. And I know that this part here is where that needs to line up. So that is my main reference point. And then I'm just making sure that the pattern lines up on all of the leaves below. So now you can see the pattern matches throughout the whole piece. Ah, God, it went crazy.
Well, it sticks sometimes, this one.
A little more, right there.
We're not going to go through every item on our list, but if you'd like to pause it, you can take a look for yourself.
Yep, I will touch on some of the major items like the cabinet and the sink, which we got from Facebook Marketplace. So the cabinet was $80, the sink was $60, and we tried to include everything that we used, from the tiles to the insulated drywall and even the delivery charges. So the grand total for our kitchen build came to €852.12, which actually works out cheaper than a similar configuration of cabinets from Bricomarché.
Don't forget to give our video a like, share it with your friends, leave a comment down below. We love hearing from you guys, and it helps the channel grow.
Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed our video. Take care, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye! New kitchen, yay!